Hey everybody, this is Shane from Shane's Books and Review. Today we will be talking about Lee Child and The Midnight Line, his new book about Jack Reacher. This book kind of surprised me a little bit. You know, everybody's got a go-to dirty little secret book that they like to read. Well, I've got a series, and it's Jack Reacher. Could be because I like to see his justice style being wreaked across the United States of America as he rights the wrongs of Little Town USA. But then again, it could be that there's a bit of action in the books, and usually he defeats the bad guy and wins the girl. However you want to look at it, this book was actually a fairly decent read. In the books, we've got, of course, Jack Reacher, and usually there's 2 or 3 characters that are the main characters that go along with Jack in this given story. That is true as well. You've got Sanderson, which ends up being somebody that is of interest. You've got Brommel, which is a detective, which used to be an FBI agent, and there's some cool dialect and play between those two as the book progresses after they meet. And then you've got Nakarami, which, if I'm not pronouncing that right, I apologize, but hopefully I am. She is more of a Fargo type in my mind. She's very good at her job. She is a very good detective, she's a very good police officer, and she has these incredible leaps of tuition that wasn't stretched in any means. It was natural the way that it happened, which was highly respectable. And then you've got some baddies. You've got some bikers that he runs into at first and puts him on the trail of things, which leads him to Scorpio. That sounds indifferently bad, doesn't it? But anyway, Scorpio is not what you would think. I was expecting somebody that's in the gym, just banging out the reps and is a bit of a meathead, but no, technological guru. Go figure. Anyhow, there were a few other bad guys, but, they're cannon fodder as it is with Jack Reacher, and they got their due course. There was a running joke through the book, which I highly appreciated. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You just got to read it to find out, but it's well worth getting to the end to find out what happens or doesn't happen, for sure. Now, in any given Jack Reacher book, as I said, he usually gets the girl, and in this one, that's no exception. But the thing that actually won a little bit of respect for me wasn't that it was, yay, yum yum, give me some. It wasn't like that at all, really. What it really came out to be was character development. Jack showed a new side of himself in the books, that he was a little bit deeper than just the surface of the ocean, as it were. I kind of like that. He showed that he didn't so much care about what other people would think, and that he cared about what was on the inside instead. So, thank you for that. That was kind of cool. In typical serial books, you'll have a formulation that a author will follow. So you'll have introduce main character, introduce problem and plot, introduce small snippets of plot line, action, action, action in book. And in this one, I was kind of happily wrong. Instead, what I got was I saw a plot line unfolding, and then I was wrong completely. Then the plot line took off in a different direction in a way, and things got complex and driven. So where I thought that perhaps I would pick this up on a Saturday and a Sunday and just read it here and read it there, I ended up finishing the whole book in less than a day. Which, for these sorts of books, even though there's usually not a whole lot to them, they're not Shakespeare, and they're not scriptlarians from the 1800s in the way that they're wrote, but I do enjoy them, so I try to make them last a little while. I read the whole thing. Go me. Yay! Now I gotta wait for the next one. One plotline twist that was a conversation opener, surprisingly enough. It has to do with opioid dependency and pain medications, the way they are misprescribed, the way people get connected to them, addicted to them, start to depend upon them, and then cannot function without them when given to them over extended periods of time and not really needing to have such medications. Now, before anybody gets upset, I understand chronic pain. I understand people that have these sorts of issues that actually do need some sort of relief. It's not an easy thing to live with. I get this. Trust me, I really do. And the way that Lee wrote his book was actually sensitive to this. It wasn't so much you have to take pain medicine to function, you are a dirty monkey. It was done tastefully instead. Moreover, it was that there was a crime ring that needed to get broke up because there was a lot of people that was getting hurt. And also, he added flavorings of thought into this. So it brings it to the foreground for conversation. It brings it to people that may not even realize why it was a problem, just heard it in the news or something like that. And they can do their own research to figure out why it is an issue and why it needs to be fixed. The main problem that is focused on in the book, which is representative of real life as well, is that people that don't need them get things that are too powerful, they get addicted to them, and then their lives go down the drain as they try to sustain a habit as an addict. And to be fair, Lee Hill, you did a very good job writing about this without making it a negative light and without making it something that is long and drawn out, and you don't go on diatribes about it, and you don't try to make a big plan to fix it either. So kudos. You won respect for me with the way that you wrote your book on that. Also, I like the way that you handled your main character, Jack Reacher, because instead of him being a closed-minded, aberrational freak of, I'm just going to destroy, there was a couple of people that he met that had this problem, and instead of consciously freaking them out and saying, hey, sorry about your luck, I'm going to just break this whole thing up, and plot's going to be done, and you're going to be without, and moving on. He was very considerate with the way that things were done. And some people might look at it like it was a brash, harsh way of going about it. But I think for the situation, the writer was true to his characters. The characters were true to themselves. And they were true to what they would have done. That would have been a hard story to write just because of the topic and the topic matter. It might not have seemed like it was such a deep book, but I mean, really, he did a great job with this. As far as plotline goes, I was, again, as mentioned earlier, a little bit surprised because there's the usual formulation that I was expecting of Jack goes here, he finds something, he goes there, he gets a little bit of information, goes here, starts to get the things resolved, goes here, something almost bad happens to him, he gets out of it unscathed, and then he's on the highway again, walking, trying to hitch a ride. I can sum up a lot of the books with that. Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure. I absolutely love them. As long as he writes them, I will still buy them. I am a glutton in that way. Thankfully, though, the way the story was wrote, there's actually a few plot lines that are going on that keeps you well entertained while you're reading. Hence the reason why I ended up reading it in just pretty well 1.5 settings instead of over the course of a week, which is what I was hoping for. Anyway, would I recommend getting the book? If you like a little bit of action with a lone wolf type of a story in it, and you like to see the guy win the girl, and you also like whodunit and that kind of a thing, this is definitely a good book to check out. This has been Shane with Shane's Book and Review. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you happen to find a good book in between now and then, make sure you let me know about it in that comment section down below. I'd be happy to read it along with you guys. Go ahead and poke at that subscribe button. Hopefully enough times that it becomes a subscription and not a subscribe unsubscribe thing. But beyond that, I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did with me and my family. And I'll see you next time.